really hear it clearly what it's saying, all because of a tape, the tape cassette itself.
Well, that's another question I was going to ask you. Explain what you had explained before about why you think that it works so much better,
Ghosts work off magnetic fields. We pretty much know this. Frequencies between 50 and 60 hertz, which are calibrated. EMF detectors are calibrated for between 50 and 60 hertz to detect ghosts. Ghosts are sound waves. It's almost like things that are vibration. If I take my hand and it's a solid object, but if I move it fast enough, you see right through it. And they're vibrating so fast, you just kind of get a quick glimpse of them or something like that. But they have a magnetic field to them. That magnetic field will actually stick to a ferric oxide better when it comes to sounds. Ferric oxide is actually on the tape. That is the tape. It's the brown plastic part that actually holds the recordings itself. That, I believe, may have just a little bit more of an edge on collecting magnetic fields in that area, such as EVPs. You got to think, EVPs are disembodied voices. They don't have a voice box like me and you have. They have to mess with ions and stuff out of the atmosphere, whatever they're collecting, and actually have to throw it somewhere. Collector waves like white noise or pink noise and distance and traffic and stuff like that. That will actually carry it on to that recorder. Digital recorders work on a similar method, but they don't have the tape. They don't have the ferric oxide. They also have really good recorders that have filters in them, and they can filter out a lot of good EVPs, where the analog don't really filter out anything. Now, when you're using an analog recorder, I always like to have some sort of an external microphone. That way you're not hearing the gears move in there.
Yeah,
but I believe that the gears, I don't know about any other investigators out there, but I do believe some of the gears that are noisy in there are just enough noise to actually help carry ghost voice onto the tape itself. So that little bit of gear noise might actually be a good thing when it comes to like white noise and pink noise and stuff like that. So it's, what I'm saying, it's all working real good together. But I always tell everybody, you can go out there and buy a $300 recorder and it's got such good filters on it, it ain't going to be worth a darn ghost on it. But you go out there and buy a little recorder for $30 at Walmart or something like that, that'd probably be just all you need.
What, as far as both of y'all, what is your most prided piece? What is the best thing you've gotten so far on any kind of investigation? Your money shot piece, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, well, I better say my wife. I met my wife, but yeah, if that I will get shot. But
no, I mean what?
As far as evidence.
The evidence. Yeah,
there
I'm sorry.
You go.
As far as evidence. As far as evidence, what is each of you? What has been the?
Go ahead, Joe.
I actually have two. One is a photo. I actually caught a full-blown apparition in a photo back in February.
I'm still laughing a little bit.
That's okay.
Go ahead.
I caught an apparition in a photo at the Ariel Theater in Gallipolis, Ohio, a few months ago. And then I've gotten a couple of EVPs that really impressed me. One of them was just my last investigation. Caught an EVP that this lady says in a British accent, "Hurry up, boys." And we were in an old cabin that was built in the 1800s. So I'm really proud of that piece of evidence. And the other EVP that I've got that I'm very proud of, we did an investigation at a private residence just outside of Monticello, Kentucky, a few months ago. And I broke one of the cardinal rules of paranormal investigating. I slipped off alone and went down in the basement and did my own EVP session down there. And nobody even close to me at all, and I was just asking random questions, and I asked I said, "What color is your eyes?" And I got this male's voice, said brown. So those three pieces of evidence are my favorite.
Yeah, mine are also EVPs too, in a photograph. I've had some great Class A EVPs telling me that you go away and to get out. I said, get out of here. I actually had one, to me that's confirmation. That it told me to get out not once, but it said, I said, get out of here. It meant what it said. To me that showed a sign of intelligence. I really liked that one a lot. And then I've got a photo too of a half a body apparition. Down in Owensboro, we caught that on an investigation. I actually felt static charge down my back, and that's when everybody started taking pictures, and we actually got this photograph. You know, things like that is really good pieces of evidence, you know, such as photographs too. We got the EXIF codes off of it, which is all the data that you need showing that it was not messed with in any way. A lot of folks don't realize that a lot of cameras offer that option nowadays, and if you're going to go ghost hunting, that's one option you might want to, you know, consider when it comes to buying a camera. Make sure that it, for one, make sure you got good, you know, a good memory card, you know, something new out of the box. You're not getting used memory cards from somewhere. Get something that you know that you know what I'm saying, took it out of the package. That way it's, you know, that much credible. You know that nobody's been tampering with the memory card. Get you, you know, a camera that holds at least 1 gig, you know, on memory, so you can have plenty of, you know, time for photos and, you know, maybe a little video or something like that involved. Then two, you want to give it a 5 megapixel or better camera. That way you're getting something with a little bit of a quality to it. Then two, you want to get a decent brand camera too. You know, that way something's trustworthy. You know, you say, hey, I used a Sony, or I used a Kodak, or something that's got a really good brand name to it. You know, something's got some quality. That way nobody can say, well, that was a cheap camera and we don't know about that picture. But one thing you really want to look for is the EXIF codes. When you look on the back of that screen, it'll tell you the date, the time that it was taken, whether flash was used or not, the ISO level of the light used on it. It tells you all this information. And it has become such a good camera to use when it comes to evidence that a lot of states have actually said, yes, this is credible enough to actually prove, you know, and solve a murder case. If it's good enough for the court systems to prove that you solve a murder case, hey, it's good enough for me to say, hey, that is really a ghost in this picture, you know. But it's called the EXIF codes on that.
Yeah, that's intriguing stuff right there. What's the last place you all investigated together? Did y'all find anything there?
Blue Lick State Park, wasn't it?
Yep, Blue Lick State Park. Unfortunately, didn't get a thing.
Didn't get a thing.
We met a lot of good friends, though, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
A lot of good people.
Well, what's the scariest moment you've had ghost hunting? I mean,
Paranormal or not paranormal?
yeah, I guess it would depend where you're ghost hunting at, wouldn't it? Either way. Now, paranormal. What's the scariest situation you've been in, or you know, have you been in a situation that even scared you? You know.
Paranormally, I've never been scared. I'm sure the day will come that I probably will be, but as of yet, I haven't.
What would it take?
I don't know. But we, you know, I worked a case that made national television, and I was actually there for some of the filming, and I was outside with the production crew, and I actually saw this young lady get physically attacked by a demonic entity, scratches all up and down her back, and that made me question whether or not I wanted to continue in the field. As far as being scared, no, but it did make me question whether or not I wanted to continue in the field, for the simple reason, every time I walk into an investigation, whether it be a client's home, business, whatever, cemetery, I'm subjecting myself to that type of attack, because you never know what you're walking in on. So for about 10 or 15 minutes, I stood there and really thought about whether or not I wanted to continue in it. And of course, I decided to stay with it, because for the simple reason, if these people need help. And if it wasn't for people like us, who would they turn to?
Yeah.
So I decided to stay in the field.
Yeah, a lot of times it helps to have somebody take some serious too.
Yeah.
Right.
That kind of stuff. What about yourself?
Well,
Paranormal wise.
when objects start getting thrown at you, you start getting to be yanked around or tugged on and stuff like that, and you don't really know what you're dealing with because you can't fully see what you're messing with here. It could be individual, it could be a possibility of a bunch of different things. And you don't know how strong and how much power these things have got. So I'm always using caution regardless on any investigation I go to. I'm always on my guard. And I'm trying, you know, I try to watch and notice things being moved around me. And even some of my equipment being messed with. At times I get uneasy when they start yanking on my jacket or my shirt, things like that. Especially when it's got a little power to it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's actually trying to get my attention. I start getting uneasy at that point. I'm like Joe, I don't really get scared too awful much. I run for it. If somebody says, I see a shadow person over there, a lot of folks are taking pictures back. I'm actually trying to go over and stand next to it and see if I can actually, you know what I'm saying, get involved with this individual somehow, you know, if I can feel a cold spot, or I can kind of personally validate, you know what I'm saying, what's there, you know. I want to get closer to it.